So then anyway, later the second day, my friends who are so they actually have a big healing ministry in China, and so they turned up at the hotel a day later than us, and they had Esther Chen's phone number.
Chuan chu Esther Chen ni mutur chuan kalan tu mani chu mama se mudan ponchelo ni chu ala soi kim lo chu chuan kha chu ta hotel kan thlang chuan kan thlen tu khanin nge Christian thau ti dam rong bol na nei ve chin kha anon kala an nu pa khan ti dam na rong bol na ro pui do an ni chu dan chu mi de chu kan mu fu la hotel a khan chu mi de chuan in mak tak me khan Esther kan mu tum zon dan po kan sha lo nu nam phone number chun lo nei hlawa.
So what was important about Esther Chen? Esther Chen had done her masters at university on the Qiang as the sons of sheep and their connection to Israel. So that's what she'd done her masters on.
Right.
So I had the book that she'd written, which you can also get from me if you need that.
Okay. Esther Chen ni chu mu atul em chu as lo zero ni chu mo chu mi chu kyang mi te beram an ni dan te le Israel le na connection ni dan te kha zero master degree in an ma ni chung chang top zero chuan alo oma chu wangin le khabu hiala zia ka chu mi le khabu po chu in ho du chuan kan he.
Okay, and so my Australian friends, Eddie and his Chinese wife, were invited to go and stay at Esther's house, which they did. And so then we get a phone call. We're sending an Uber because there's a birthday party. Come out and celebrate a birthday party. And so at the birthday party, I said to Esther, I have a budget. I've got $3,000. Can you take us up to the mountains and show us the Qiang, in the mountains? And I said, I'll pay for the cars, the hotels, the food. I said, I just need somebody to guide me. And so she said to me, and she was very pleased to meet Zaitang Chuni from the B'nai Menashe. And so she said, yes, we'll have to leave at midnight because I've got to be back in 3 days to do a conference. And I said, fine, we're ready to go whenever you are. And she said, and by the way, would you like to come to my conference? And I said to her, what's the conference on? And she said, the lost tribes of Israel in China. So I had managed to arrive in Chengdu, find the one person I needed to find, and she's happy to take us up to
while having fun, right?
But while having fun at the hotel and the swimming pool and the coffee shops, and the bakeries, and then she's happy to take us up and show us all these things, which was a live Qiang Hill Tribe Museum, and the big museum at Chen that had lots of Qiang things in it. And it was just beyond my wildest expectations how good it was. And of course we came back, and then we were part of the lost tribes of Israel in China. So people from all over China, Inner Mongolia, people from all over China had now diverged onto the very place that we had come. It was just, you can't make this stuff up. Unless God does it, it doesn't happen.
So I mean, so Aropisa, so English should have paid on in Chicago as well, and Lepo here, China. I say the canin and Motum hotel thing with hot so and so Esther Muturan and Kaldon Shim Takata Hanin birthday party or Matsumia and Low Sombian and Kalta. So I mean Esther Jinikana and Mutatu then engagement model canin a budget canea $3,000 more and no it's that. So to kanaya mase kami chiang hau omna tlang han kal kan dua akar manti tang zong zong kha katu manga engma kan chi silawa min pui the ngem nang ma khan min gai the ngem ti khan ka han dil to pa tia chan Esther o the ma se zania kan chwa ngai dona achan chu นิทุมตัวนั้นจังนิทุมมาอย่างนี้คอนเฟรนซ์กับวัดเสียจุมีอาจารย์เลตุรินทิลบอยพูดตัวกันอาจารย์นี่นักันสว่างง่ายๆแต่โอ้กันเรื่องกันเตียอาจารย์เองอีคอนเฟรนซ์ตัวเองนี่เรื่องอาทิกันโจขานิน the lost tribe of Israel in China ที่อันนี้อาทินี่จุมาจุมีองค์จะให้Israel China รามา Israel นำบูเตคอนเฟรนซ์ที่อันนี้จุมีให้มักตักไม่ขานินดิคันเชียงเฮานับต่างพวกจะมีช่วยมิวเซียมที่มาหาไล่อันที่เราในตัวที่ขันเราด่าชาขัดยังค่ะกับหมู่ขันอารมณ์วินอัมมักเฮก็เกมานักเราในตัวภาคเราที่อัตกินกันหัวที่นี่ช่วยวันเนมเห็นตัวก็อัตกินกับหัวจะมีไม่เป็นอะไรมาจอยดิฉันคอนเฟรนซ์เราให้กันเตลเวกันเตลคอนเฟรนซ์ที่พวกเชียร์เรากันเตลเวภาคนั่นตัวที่พวกเชียร์เราค่ะแต่ให้มีนันส้มเลยอามาเราบวชเสร็จอันนี้เลยพวกจันที่ขันินเกมาอันนี้พวกกันเตลพวกขันลมไม่เป็นไม่ได้เชียร์ลำปังอินเดียลำรามาจังรองคัลที่พวกกันนี่ขันเราลมมาจันนินที่ขันChina อาจารย์จะมีคอนเฟรนซ์อาจารย์ China รามามีสงเหมองโกเลียลำมีที่พวกค่ะอันนั้นก็เข้ามาอิสราเอลทำเบาช่วยตัวเละก็แต่อังตุยมีสงค่ะมักตักเมนที่ขันกันหันก็เข้ามานี่จูมีก็ใส่ตุ้มจูจงอันสุดท้ายก็ใส่ไม่งั้นก็ใส่ตุ้มจูก็แต่อังทิลที่เล่ไปในรวดเราจนก็แต่อังค่ะหันเปลี่ยนไงนะเขาเราเล่ไปที่เราเปลี่ยนจนเองกิมค่ะอารมณ์ฟูทับเจละที่ขันเป็นนวมที่วินโฮเทลเรามิงแต่นวมเดี๋ยวโฮเทลก็ไล่ให้เบเกอรี่แต่งานนวมเสด็จก็ไล่ขันินเล่ไปจนที่ขันกันหูตัวเตะกับบุลาอันบนทนก็แต่ขันเล่ไปอินที่เราเปลี่ยนให้จนอฟูชินันนี่
So we're in China. So the only way things happen in China is that the Holy Spirit leads people. So things aren't advertised. You don't know about them. You just have to turn up at the right time. And so at the end of the first day, Esther decided she's going to ask everybody at the conference how they managed to find her conference because it wasn't advertised.
Right, yeah.
And so the second person to speak, I realised, was the man that had been studying Reverend Torrance, that the Scottish lady had told me about. And and I'd been trying to find him. I'd been sending him messages through her going, we're in this hotel in Chengdu between these 3 days, please contact me. And it was long past those 3 days. And I realised as he gave his testimony and it was translated, this was the man. And so I was the fourth person to speak. And so I said, I didn't know the conference was on. I just came, to Chengdu at this month because, I heard it was a good time of year to come. There was no specific reason. And then I said to him, because part of his testimony was he wanted, after doing all the research on Torrance and the Chiang, then he wanted to come to Mizoram and meet the people over here. And the Indian government had refused his visa.
Right.
So he said he was very despondent. He thought he would give up the whole Israel thing.
Right.
And, and 3 days before the conference, the Holy Spirit had said to him, buy a ticket, get on that train, travel 3 days from the east coast to the west side of China. And now he's at the conference. And so he's giving, and so he's here because God told him to come. So that's his version. My version, of course, was that I just arrived and I didn't know about anything. And here I am. But I said to him, but if you come to Mizoram, there would be one person that everybody in Mizoram would say you needed to meet, and that's Zai Tangchuni. I said, that's the lady sitting next to me right now. And I said, Mizoram has come to China. And he got up and she got up and they danced around the room like they were husband and wife. They'd known each other for all their life. It was really quite an amazing thing. But what happened next was Zai Tangchuni asked this Chinese researcher if after we came back to Mizoram and I went back to Sydney, if he would go and find the mythical location of the Mizos called Chin Lung.
Right.
And that's what he proceeded to do over the next 7 years. He's been to Chin Lung, which they say Sin Lung. He's been there 7 times now.
Right, okay. So chumi chu tikhan hey China rama chuanin Christian tan chuanin tharau thiang hlimina akai shwai ngai thini chu achan chu conference nei tu pon khoya ama tarle phaulan khamo advertisement angkha theilo ta khami ni wang han tharau thiang hlimina a shwai khom tok kha angai thina chumi ni wang chuanin conference apo chuan abo sei tu nu Esther Chen ni chuan ama sabera zo chu engtin nge he conference tung chang inron sha ta engtin nge inron kalti kha pakhate te khan azot masa chuan a speaker pahni na azo pahni na pa chuanin pa chu aron dinga cha ama chanchin a in soi khanin ama chu Reverend Doris a chanchin zir mi ani a hey ti kha ka she chhuaka chan a chan chi he pa chanchin hi Scottish nu pakhatin mana men shil to a khata tang khan ama hi mu ka chak ema email te ka thona message te ka thona chengdu a chumi hotel a chuan dei chu ni chung chu kan omdona min lo mu thei ngem ati te kha ka thon china ma se ka message kha a mu thei ngai lawa chu tianga biak tuma he ka nei hnu ka tum hnu ni thum hnu de a chuan in tum lo de win a testimony soi atang chuan kha pa ngi kha ani ti ka han mu chhuak le a cha a testimony atang khanin a testimony a soidan chuanin Torrance le khyang ho chanchin le khabu a zia zo khan Mizoram ma India a local atum thu te asoya ma se visa an lo reject amu India sarkarin chumi chu Israel chungchang chui le zia atum chu thul le te tum hian ani chu khami wang khan ma se hemi conference ma ni thum khanin atong China tharau thiang him o sha chuta chuanin lalpa khan hemi khwa venga hian vakal ro atia chu ala em ani chu obna tang chuan ma se ni thum chung kha lalpa thoi chuan aron kala chumi chu Mizorama katia helaya conference China aron telve thei dan chu anita cha khatia an soi kha aduta khan ka thu soi hu na lo thlen khanin hey chumi chu Mizoram atang local kan ni a inge Mizoram local thei lo ma la hey Mizoram in kanron pan che ani hi pathian zara katita chuanin Mizoram lo visa polo reject lo ta se Mizoram local ta la Israel chungchang ze itum shim chuan mi izo chuanin nup chupa chu avashil ni chu an din lai chuan Mizoram India ma Mizoram local thelo visa an ron reject ta che ma se local ta la lo reject lo ta se local ta la Mizoram local ta seng chuan Israel chungchang izo shim chuanin mi pakhatan ko mu chenga chu pizai than chungina hei kabula thunu hi ani a tia ani a in sha te khan chuan heta India local thelo Mizoram local thelo ma la Mizoram ina ron pan che ni hi katia tikhan an ding duna an lam duna nge hei nupui pasal mana in muto lo ang me khan ten an laman hlim dun tu ka tia chuanin chumi ro pui le pakhat chu khanin kumsari chung khalal pa in shinlung chu pa chu mo chu Chinese pa chu shinlung chungchang an chhuana te an lo chhuana te kha chinlung kha zero ti khalal pa khanin homework a pe ni chu chumia chuan sinlung an te tan mani chan chinlung te lo khan sinlung an te ta chuanin China rama sinlung a chuanin kumsari chung voisari akal to ni chu
so it's not until July of 2023 that I'm back in Mizoram and you know I woke up one morning and I just felt strongly that God asked me to form an institution. So I rang Richard in LA, that's where he lives, and you know he suggests we call it Lost Tribes Institute, and so we have. And within 5 days of you know me waking up with that mandate to form this institution, 10 men had driven their car from the border of Nagaland in Assam to come and see me, and they from another northeast tribe, and they said to me, here's our research. We also think we're part of the Lost Tribes of Israel, madam, and if only you had an institution we could present our findings to. And I said, funny that 5 days ago God asked me to form an institution. So that was confirmation to me that the Lost Tribes Institute is a God-ordained vehicle.
Right, okay. Yeah, I think I should translate that now, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Chuanin kom sang ni le som ni pathum khanin lalpan institute mo online na he institute siamro ti hi minchila chuanin ka chanpa Richard Harwood kha elea omania chumi chu ka zu shila chuanin Lost Tribe Institute ti indinila antia institute chu andin tani chu chuanin ti khanin chumi atanga ninga nuwa chuanin Nagaland bull border atang khwanin mi som an lokala chumi de chuan kapi ke mani po hi Israel nambo ni in kanin sha kan history te kan han chuya chumi chu eta institute kan thil chuite kan research te da thatna turle han zia lanna momi mu thaya han tarlan tu institute om seng chuan a chawan chadol en anon ti ni chu chuan ke ma chuan lalpan ninga kalta khan ti turin min lo ti a he kalo ti vek to in da don ne atita chumi chu kanu sei tu ma chuan lalpa ina thil ti tura min ti hi hei achang chuanin lalpa atangin ning angem o ti hi ani chin hi ma se khatyanga mi som lai na min ron lalpan ti tura min ti atanga ninga na a chok khatyang mi som lai min ron zo ta kha chan lalpa in ti tura min ti nge ani a hemi Israel nambo chungchang hi lalpa hian angai poimo a lalpa nem nge ani ti hi keima chuan chiang ani.
Okay, so we are about to do our 6th symposium, and this will be our second one in Isle. This is number 6 for us.
Chuan scientific symposium chu parukna tur kan mangdona aizola book aizola voi ni na tur ni chu parukna tur kan mangdon ni tu na yan.
Okay, and so the dates will be the 30th and the 31st of October, and we're hoping that Mizo researchers, Mizo historians, people at universities, and all of those academic sort of people who are interested in the real story of the origin of the Mizos, that they would come to those 2 days.
Chuan chumi scientific symposium chu October ni som thum le ni som thum pakhat ani a chumi a chuanin a local do a big takin mile khathiam te mizir mi te mo university mi te mo college mi te poni se hatyang Mizo history Mizo in lo chwana zir chiang du mi te khatyang kha in omani chuanin local nge turin ka som chemi.
And the reason is because within the last 3 years, Chinese records have been translated into English, and we've now got access to some of those records of the Qiang. So we found out a lot of things, and that information will be available at the scientific symposium.
Chumi chu he apoi mo na chan chu tun kunthum malam he kutun kunthum mo chung hianin ama information kan share ngai lo Chinese stronga in ziak chin kha mo tuna English in translate tam tak om to ni chuma tun kum som chung hian khami ama information thil kan lo share ngai lo ma lo zia to kha tuna chuanin sha theile mu theile chhar theina om to a.
So our second and our third symposiums were both in Chiang Mai, and at the second one, our keynote speaker was the researcher that I met in 2016, and he came with lots of Chinese records and pictures of the Xinlong cave and many Israel connections to the Xinlong, dating right back into 682 BC, things that are, only if you can read the Chinese records can you find this out. And so he'd done all of that research because Zai Tang Chuni had asked him to, and he brought that, and he presented that at our symposium in October last year, 2024.
Ni kum khan October ni kum khan sang ni som ni pali khan in an symposium kha Chiang Mai an han nei le ni chu mi Chiang Mai an ne a chuanin chu China pa le China hai pe zai than chung ne nan lam don ka ti kha Chinlung chungchang zir tura alo request pa kha khami khanin athil zir chwate chu aron phaulang ta mo chu presentation ron nei ta chu ta chuanin enge China athil injak tam tak he ma kan lo share ngai lo kha aron ti langa chuanin khalak tam tak te he a Chinlung chuak khami lung chunga mi lo om dan te le Israel te ne na an connection zong te kha athil zir chwana kha aron kenga chumi po chu tun thuma hianin en turin om don ani a thlak thlengin.
Okay, so for those interested in the cave, I'll just give a little quick preview.
Yes.
It took a Buddhist monk 7 days to walk from one side of the cave to the other side, because it goes in one side of the mountain and out the other side. It's got water sources inside of it. It's got the grease from cooking oil on the ceiling. It's got steps and rooms inside the cave. So they consider it to be somewhere between 10 and 20 kilometers from one side of the mountain to the other. So it would hold a small city of people.
Chuan chu mi chu atlema tu na shizau tu inom takin chu mi chinlung chung chu mo khami cave kha umdal kan soi logang atlem te in chu mi chu monks hey shanga monks kha khatyang pui thiam mo khatyang buddhist pui thiam kha khami te khanin nisari chungan kal thini chu kilometer so ma tang kilometer som ni vela seyania chuanin room sang te po oma ei tur an lo siam to na he thil achung mom te a oma chuanin khatyang kha thil mi he khopui angreng te achung ha mi tam takleng a omani.
And so he also brought the record of Chinese records that said in 1730 AD, so that's 300 years ago, that the governor of that part of China had sent 12,000 army troops to chase the Qiang out of the lair, L-A-I-R, which implies a cave, that they were going to chase the Qiang out of this cave because they were involved with banditry and other things that the Chinese didn't like. So they chased them away from this cave.
Okay. Chuanin chu ta inziak motor ombok chu khalai kum zathum punchang kum zathum kalta khan khalai chulai mun mo chiang hau omna lai mun chumi lung omna lai muna chuan an governor khanin an thil ti dan te du lo wang khanin mi tam tak kha atnot bawa chuanin chu atnot bawa ni ti
Yeah, so I encourage all the Mizo historians and researchers to come, because we'll have pictures of the cave. We'll also have pictures of the valley and the bridge and the fort that was there 100 years ago, because a German researcher took photos of it. So we'll have those that'll be accessible for the symposium.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So anin chu miso researcher te mo historians te kha local nge ula poi mo kati na chan chu German mi researchers ten kumzakal ta atha lawlak te po oma chuanin khilaya alung te khatyang mi lo omna cave te kha thalak mu tur te tam tak oma zir chian tur atamani.
And so just to finish off this interview, last September, so like last month, I, along with Richard Hewitt and other members of our Lost Tribes Institute and Dr. Bixiyama, PC Bixiyama, we went to Japan, and we were shown many traditions in the Shinto Japanese culture that are also Israelite, and there's probably a group of 20 old men who have been using the traditions, the Israelite traditions inside the Japanese culture to bring the message of Jesus as the Jewish Messiah to the Japanese people, and it's starting to become very successful.
Chuanin tunhai me pokanin Dr. PC Biaksa mate ke mate ka pasal Richard te ka tang ho ka Japan rama khan symposium nei kha kanan nei le ni chuta po chuanin henge Japanese mi putar somni vel kha an lokala chumi te po chuanin hei tuna Israel nambo hi ni te pon anin sha chuan khami me baga khanin Japanese te chunga Christian an ni theina na chanchin thashil nan an mangbokani chu.
And so I just want to finish this by saying that indeed the Good Shepherd, Jesus Christ as the Good Shepherd, has been, it has continued to find the lost sheep of the house of Israel in all the different nations that they ended up, including Mizoram, including Japan, including Thailand and Myanmar, and the many places that Lost Tribes Institute researches. And so the Mizo are a prime example of being found by the Good Shepherd, who we know of course is Jesus Christ, and he's found you, and you are good soil, not despite being the Lost Tribes of Israel, but because you were the Lost Tribes of Israel.
Chuanin atop na na ka soi le du chu kan beram pu cha mo I swa hianin alo mu chuak chewa alo alo chan chuak chewa tian Christian in lo ni ta chuan chumi helai hun me ba ka mun sang sanga beram pu tha ani na angkhanin a beram bote alo chan chuak na sa nang ma ni po he chan chuak ti fia taka ti fia tu in ni chumi chu kan beram pu thadzia ti lan na aberam adu te in ni tikhanin translate kim do te po kha umei theya chumi chu shefia le izwal du te in chuanin kanu hi tlemin asoi thui do wang han thil mai kalo nei te ni pon shefia le izwal tur hetiang lampanga tui mi in omai cha itik lai pon kanin kan mu thei renga kanin kom pe renga chumi chu amo dinan zo na mi puiten sha se isoi fia lo deu in ti te in nei ni chon comments a han lo soi ula tikhanin subtitle put te po ada thenga mu ka te han chuanin kanu hi ala omrei deu do na thakhat aum do na chumi ni wang chuanin ai fia le ai toy zok te pon mo ai se zok te pon karon ti le don ya.
So one more thing I should say is on the 28th of October, we have a big conference at Vandapa Hall, which is very Mizo, and everybody's invited to that.
Yes. Oh, so I mean, nachina alo som October in som thum pakhat khachu mithiam big injir mite historians tanania mase October ni som ni paria ta hianin Vandapa Hall dar som mo som pakhat changa dar thum thleng kha mi zong kal thei tura khona nia chumi chan zo na zo du te pon oma Dr. PC Biaksia ma pon thu soinga chuan Richard Harry te pon neanga kanu po hena soidona chuanin thu soidu te in chuanin hei mizo te hi Israel nambo nge kan ni ti chungchang soi hauna ani don ni chu chumia chuanin longai thaturin mi zong somin ni.
And I think Dr. PC Bixiama has written a book, and he'll be opening that at that conference.
Oh, chan chumi chungchang chu Dr. PC Bixiama khanin le khabu jak boka chumi po chu leiturin ong don ni chu. Okay.
Good.
An lo me.
Oh, me.